This Social Security measure gives at least some protection.
For anybody to hand this out, we're asking for a chance to have the people who will receive the benefit to earn their way. The same principle established under the Social Security system in this nation.
It is no longer acceptable to discuss women's rights as separate from human rights.
I know we can come together to face down the challenges of our own time.
Welcome back. We're the Democrats. This is the show where we're interviewing all the candidates who are running on the Democratic ballot in Nashua in the 9 wards. Today, we're pleased to have with us Mary Gorman from Ward 4. Welcome, Mary.
Oh, thank you, David and Cindy, for having me.
Let me introduce my co-host, Cindy Rosenwald.
Representative Cindy Rosenwald and candidate from Ward 3. Welcome, Mary.
Why, again, thank you. It's great to be here.
So you've served 7 terms, is that
yes.
correct?
I have spent 14 years to date in the legislature, and I'm running my 8th campaign.
You've served on a number of committees, right? I know you spent a long time on the Labor Committee, is that right?
Yes, my first committee, which was very interesting, was Fish and Game, and I knew nothing about Fish and Game, but it was really most enlightening, and I really enjoyed the nonpartisanship of Fish and Game, and that was a lot of fun. And then I went to Labor.
More partisan? Recently?
Well, not necessarily recently. I felt as though that when I went on to Labor, the Republicans and Democrats worked very hard to find compromise and fairness and parity. And then my last committee this term has been education, and oddly education, that is my background, but I'm a firm believer in trying different things and learning new ways of looking at the world. So
let's go back to the Labor Committee, though, because I know that I started hearing about right-to-work initiatives and anti-collective bargaining bills when I was first elected. So you must have fought that fight with Republicans and Democrats standing together back when you were first elected.
Yes, we did. Right to work has always been an issue that we have been able to fight back, and the Democrats and Republicans on Labor were very solid years ago in regard to keeping right to work away from our state
It's
politics.
called right to work.
So-called right to work.
Yeah, it's really
why
right
don't
to
you
work
explain
for
what
less.
right to work legislation does?
What the effect is.
The effective right to work is a diminishing of collective bargaining rights for labor, and in what it does is that it does not allow for the exchange of ideas or parity or equality between management and labor. And what always has struck me when people talk about unions and the power that they have, they fail to remember that it's a contract and it's between 2 entities. And in most of the contracts in which I've been involved, there has always been a management's rights clause which states that anything not covered by the contract comes under the purview or umbrella of management. So in my view, management has always had a slight edge in regard to
It's
to
my
bargaining.
recollection, Mary, that New Hampshire has never voted for right-to-work legislation until this past session, under Republican legislatures as well as Democratic-dominated legislatures, including under Speaker Sytek, Speaker Chandler,
Speaker Scammon.
Speaker Scammon. This is the first time. We've never been a right-to-work state. We've always had low unemployment. We have a very good quality of life and a good workforce here. So what was different about this session?
Well, I think this session with the legislature, there was the undercurrent of free enterprise. I think a lot of our bills were couched in the idea of free enterprise and what is good for business is good for families, all Americans. No government intervention. And my thought is that perhaps, and I'm not being tongue-in-cheek, was that slavery was an institution that did not have government intervention, and there was a segment of the population which was not freed by that particular institution. So I think the idea of the government as anti-business is not accurate at all.
This term you were serving on the Education Committee, was Nashua affected by any of the kind of out there education bills that were passed?
Well, certainly the idea of teaching the Bible in public schools
as a science tool.
Yes, is contrary to our doctrine at the federal level, the federal Constitution, and our own state Constitution, and Article 44, separation of church from state. And that's a very unique tenet in the democracies of the world.
Well, Nashua was one of the first towns to have public kindergarten, and there was an effort that ultimately failed, but a lot of Republicans just
the House Republican supermajority in our legislature, in our House, voted to eliminate kindergarten.
Yes, yes.
You've been a long-time representative from Nashua. Talk to us briefly, because we're running out of time, about some of the issues in Nashua that are important to Nashua citizens.
Well, I think certainly one of the issues is the economy and jobs, and I'm proud to say that I was the prime sponsor of a bill to increase the number of apprentices that barbers could have, and barbering is one of the fastest growing independent small businesses in the state. So that was wonderful, and David Cody's was a co-sponsor. The Representative Quant, Matt, and Lee were co-sponsors, and Senator Lambert. And so we were able to work from Nashua. So we were able to work together
Real bipartisan effort.
Right, and to get that passed. And I think that certainly will provide an acceleration of individuals into the business.
And that's a good example, but I'm sure you agree, you've been up there a long time, that the legislature works best when we have bipartisanship.
Yes.
When we work across, Republicans and Democrats work together.
Well, to me, we all want the same things. I think we all want good schools. We want an efficient and effective use of our tax dollar. We want a strong infrastructure. We want a very healthy and robust economy. How we get there, I think, sometimes parts the Red Sea.
Sure.
But
we all want the same
I think we all want the same thing, and I think that I really believe that people are extraordinary if given the opportunity, and sometimes we have to provide the opportunity.
Well, we've run out of time.
We have, Mary. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.